Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. Today we're out on the California Delta. It's December 26th. Water temperatures out here are hovering right around 50 degrees. Clarity's about, I'll say 1 to 3 feet where I'm at, and we have a gentle breeze of maybe 2 to 4 miles an hour. So conditions aren't bad, but as you guys know, it's the California Delta. We're fishing for Florida strain bass out here, and when the water approaches 50 degrees temperature, it gets tough. So nobody that I know is out here thinking that they're going to come out and pick up a 30-pound bag. We're just trying to survive. Don't care how much experience you have out here. Don't care what you're throwing, how you're doing it, and how hard you're trying. It's just a difficult fishery this time of year. Number one, as always, the ability to assess your situation and make changes is super important. Today I'm going to keep it real simple. I've got about 3 hours to fish. I'm out here at the high outgoing tide, and I'm going to fish those 3 hours. If I can't get a bite or get a couple of fish in those 3 hours, I'm not going to stay out, wait for a dead tide, and then wait for my incoming tide. Just not in the cards for me today. I'm going to stick to about 4 reaction, fast-moving baits, and then after that I'm going to be sticking to plastics, primarily worms. My 4 reaction baits are going to be an A-rig, a lipless crankbait, probably a flat-side crankbait. What else do I have on here? I may put on a paddle tail swim bait. Oh, and I've got a jerk bait. Those are my 4 or 5 baits that I'm going to stick to. My slow-moving baits are going to be different types of worms. I might throw a drop shot. I'm going to throw some stuff that I can drag through vegetation. Might throw a wacky, stuff like that. Just stuff where I could slow down and just fish. So with that, let me get set up. I'll turn the camera on, and as you can see, I've got my chair up in front. When I've got that chair up in front, that means I'm sitting down and I'm going to try to slow down. And when I'm standing up, I've got a run and gun. One of the things that helps me is putting the chair up there. Once I sit down, I can slow down a little bit. It's going to be pleasant listening to the ducks and just seeing if I could get bit a couple times. So stick with me. We'll see what happens, and if I start to catch a fish or two, I'll let you know how I'm getting the bites and maybe try to give you any tips that I can that might help you when you're out here. I'm starting off with a jerk bait this morning, and I'm going to try to fish it slow. It's really hard for me. I'm fishing right off of the edge here, about 8 feet of water. Make a long cast and just try a slow retrieve. I hope I don't get shot today. Uh-oh, that's close. Uh-oh. Maybe I shouldn't be here. I think there's a guy right on the other side of that bank. So what I'm going to do is give him a little space, and we're going to go the other way. I'm just that kind of guy. I want to break into the video just to remind you, watch this video till the end. I know it's starting out a little bit slow, but I do pick up a limit of fish, and as we wrap this up, I'll give you my opinions on why I was successful today. So make sure you watch this till the end. I guarantee you there's going to be some action. So you guys can see I'm coming up to this point here. There could be a lot going on at the point. There's shallow water, there's tules, there's some there's cover for the fish in the tules and the vegetation, obviously. There's a point out there. It has some deep water, so this is a good place to maybe throw an A-rig and maybe a jerk bait just to see if we can pick something up that's offshore. I threw my jerk bait out there 4 or 5 casts. I threw my mini A-rig out there for 4 or 5 casts, and I'm gonna grab my worm and try to fish that real slow in tight just to see if I can pick a fish up that's moving in around that cover. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work my way around this point. I'm going to fish another point, and I know there's a little, there's a marina right around the corner. I want to go in and fish in there in a little protected water, just to see if they're not around the docks, or they like that being confined in around these marinas and stuff. A lot of times the fish will hold in there this time of year. So by doing what we're doing here, I get a chance to fish out in a windblown point. I get to fish a windblown tule bank, and then I get to fish in around docks and cover and in some protected water. So just within a quarter of a mile of where I'm at, I can really focus in on a lot of different types of water. That wind is picking up. It's probably, I think I might have mentioned it was maybe 2 to 4. Now it's probably 5 to 10 out here. Might be a little front coming in, which could trigger a bite. Generally, when the fronts come in, the fish move from deep to shallow if they're going to feed. So I may be focusing a little more on my shallow water fishing, and maybe a little more speeding up and covering water, just because if we do have a front coming in, those fish will be moving. And again, I think they'd be moving from deep to shallow, and they will be fairly active. There we go. Okay, here we go. He's coming in. Oh yeah, that's a boy. That's the one I wanted. Yes. Slowing it down with a little margarita mutilator. It's not a huge fish, but I'll tell you, they don't come easy. Let me show you what I got that one on. So, straight shank hook. Rigged weedless, 10-pound fluorocarbon with about a 1/16 ounce split shot up about a foot from the bait. Not a big one, but the keeper, solid little fish. Boy, light colored, it's not sitting in the weeds. That's what we picked him up on, the A-rig. See if we can't get another one out there. There we go. Yeah, another one. Oh, nice one. Good sized one here. Ah, yeah. That's a boy. That a boy. Ah, yeah. Another A-rig fish. Yeah. nice one here. Oh yeah. Come here, baby. Get in here. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it there. Yeah. One more A-rig fish. Yes. Nice. Take that one, baby. All right, I think it's about time to wrap the video up. We'll give you a short recap on what happened, and I'm going to give you what I feel my keys to success were. Now, on this particular day, when we went out, I told you that I was going to stick to baits that I knew were standard baits and that I've caught fish on before. 3 or 4 slower moving plastics, and then 3 or 4 reaction style baits. And that's what I did. I went back and forth for a little while until I saw what was going on, and then I stuck with that A-rig that was catching my fish. When I got out here, wind was blowing 2 to 3 miles an hour. There was a light front that moved in, and that wind picked up from 2 or 3 miles an hour to about 8 to 12 miles an hour. I wanted to fish the high outgo tide, and I was going to fish it for about 3 hours just to see if I can get the fish to bite. And I knew once that tide dropped off, I didn't want to stay out and beat my head against the wall. I stayed out my 3.5 hours, and I caught my fish. I also looked at the weather report on the way back, or on the way out, and I noticed there was a larger front coming in this evening. We're going to be getting some rain. We got a little rain this morning, and I'm going to get rained on if I don't get out of here real quick, I think. So as these larger fronts come in, I knew that there was going to be smaller fronts coming in throughout the day that may trigger a bite, and that's what happened for me. The last point or two that I was on, the wind was starting to pick up, and boat positioning was going to be a little bit tough. So at that point, I decided to pull into a harbor and start fishing the harbor where I was protected from the wind. So first key, remember, when a storm front comes in, I don't care if the fish are on a point, if they're in a cove, if they're on a wind-blown bank, a rock bank, a tule bank, whatever it may be. All the fish feel the effects of the storm front, barometer jumping around, whatever it may be. They feel the effects of the storm front the same way. So it didn't matter, in my opinion, if I was on that point or if I was in a protected cove. The fish were all going to get aggressive at the same time. So for me, I'd rather pull into a cove where you don't have wind, or a harbor. Excuse me, I might have said I pulled into a cove. I pulled into a harbor that was protected from the wind today. That allowed me to position my boat much easier and hit the prime, or what I felt were the prime spots, easier. So remember that when those storm fronts go in, you can stay fishing. Maybe you can get out, get in a protected area. You'll still catch fish. That's a big, should be a big takeaway from today's video. As I started fishing faster with these reaction baits, and especially when I started getting bit on the A-rig, I wasn't getting 2 or 3 fish in each location. I was getting 1 bite, 1 fish, and then I had to move on down the bank or around the corner to get my other fish. Now the fish were fairly active, but I had to move. So generally in the winter, what I find out here is when you find 1 fish, you'll find 2 or 3 fish, or a pod of fish. When that water temperature is around 50 degrees, I catch 1 fish. I want to stay in that area and really work that area hard. What I did today, after I caught my first few fish, I tried to adapt. Just like we said, one of the things you have to do as an angler is adapt to your surroundings day to day. And on this particular day, the fish weren't balled up. So when you're out here in the winter, generally you catch 1 fish, you want to fish in that area, stay in there, pick up a few more fish, slow down, fish worms in that area, fish the ledge, fish the, whatever you have in front of you, and then move on to your next area. Today I had to be a little more active, so instead of sticking in those areas, I just kind of pushed through on my trolling motor, and one of the keys was just keep moving. It can be done out here on the Delta in the winter. You got to come out, fish in between the storms. Don't expect the fishing to be fast, and remember, if you can pick up a couple fish every time you come out in the winter, that's a good day. It's relative to the time of year that you're out here. It wouldn't be a good day midsummer spring, fall. But man, you come out here on the Delta, don't beat yourself up if you're not getting a lot of bites. Just enjoy what you have out here. The geese are out flying around. It's quiet. I think I heard one other bass boat go by. There's no one out here. So when you find a fish, it's your fish, and you just have to figure out how to catch them. So thanks for watching the video, and get out here and catch some fish. Good luck.